Hello, I'm here for week 2 of the Put on Love journal, and what I'm going to do today is the quote, "To rest is an act of faith. It means we honestly believe that our existence is not dependent on our activity." I think as moms that's especially hard, to think that we can move and move and move and move and move, and that's great. We're working for our families and everything else, but that we also need to rest. And if we don't rest, especially spending time with God, our families aren't going to get anything out of all this driving because we're going to fall apart. So I chose to use the stamp for this. I'm sorry because it's retired, but you might be able to hunt it down. It's called A Nice Cuppa. You can see it's got a teacups and a coffee cup and little lemon wedges and everything. Now I know it's kind of cutesy, but I'm using this to remind me that I am best when I spend my time with my coffee cup, reading God's Word in the morning and praying and getting myself shored up for the day. Because without that rest, I am not a very good person to be around. So while it's pretty and it's fun, it really does have a serious reason for me to use it. Do that without too much shaking. Since you can't really see without the lighting, I'm going to bring it over here. I just want to show you, I've laid out a couple of the stamps I'm going to use in a few minutes. That's just going to help me space things out properly on the page. So I'm using the Bold Cup image and the Sweet Sugar Plum ink because it's a lighter purple, and I'm going to want to stamp some words on it in a minute. These new ink pads that we have, well, new to me, they've been around for a few years now, they're very juicy, so you just really want to lightly tap it, otherwise you'll have a mess. But you can kind of see on there, I missed this spot. That's one of the nice things about the photopolymer. You can really tell right where your ink is, so I can go back and kind of, you can also see if it's streaky like it was. To make sure I have that lined up with the other stamps I put down, and just give it a good press, and then you want to lift straight up, no rocking. One of my other stamps stuck to the block. That's funny. Okay. Oh, they both did. So I'm going to put those back down. Okay. And then I'm going to put the phrase, "and spending time with you." It was meant to go with the teacups. It said there's always time for tea and then spending time with you, but I think it's still appropriate here to remember to always make time to spend time with God. This is Tip Top Taupe, just a little spot I had. So I'm going to stamp that right on top of the teacup. And I held it down for a minute just to make sure all those words got really good. I'm sorry, I'm going to try to tilt that down so maybe you can see it a little bit there. It's kind of subtle. And then they have a heart that looks like steam that I'm going to use. I'm going to do this one in the Perfect Plum. It's a little bit darker, and I did want some difference. This is the old ink style pad because I haven't replaced all mine, so I have to press a little bit harder to get it covered. Pressed a little too hard. Let me do that. And then the last thing I'm going to do is add a little tag, or the ones that are on the end of your tea bag. Even though I do coffee, it's still cute. I do drink tea sometimes, but just not in the morning typically. So I'm going to do that again in that Tip Top Taupe. And put it down there. Try to tilt that up there so you can see it. Now I do need to draw my string. So this is our basic brown journaling pen. If you haven't seen these, One end is a fine tip. That's what I'm going to use here in a second. The other end is a brush tip. It's really, really nice for these type of projects because you have both markers and whatever color you need right at your fingertips. So I just drew the string from the cup to the tea bag. And now I'm going to write in here PROV. That's going to be my abbreviation for Proverbs. And then in the square, I'm going to put 31. Which I now feel like there are probably people going, what? Because the last thing we think of when we think of resting is the Proverbs 31 woman. But I put it there as a reminder to me that she knew to place her trust in God. And she started her day early because I have to start my day early if I'm going to get any time. And even then, I usually have a toddler in my lap. But if I put things in priority the way she did, my day and my family are a lot better off. So I'm going to do that. And now I'm going to show you something I'm going to do to mark off some of my pages so that if I want to look back really quickly at something, I can. So I know one of the messages I've received from this book is to just a reminder to take that rest. So I want to be able to put the word rest, pull up where the bookmark is, and go straight there if I want a visual reminder of this page. Like, you really need to get the message today. So I'm taking my, I believe it's called the Modern Label Punch. And I am going to take my sweet sugar plum paper, punch that out, and then I'm going to fold it in half, just like so. Okay. And then on the top of it, I'm going to take again one of these brush tip markers. This is the Elegant Eggplant. It's a darker purple. And I am going to write the word rest on it. Now obviously you can get super fancy with hand lettering. I'm just going to put some dots here. Just nothing too, now it's backwards, but nothing super fancy there. Now the trick here is the only thing you gotta remember is your book is gonna be that way. So don't do the don't tape it down when you're in here with the word facing you. Otherwise you won't be able to see it when you're looking at the front of your book. Now I'm gonna take my Tear and tape. This is just a double-sided tape that's super sticky. It's very easy to put on, but once you put it on, it's not gonna come up. Because I have kids, so there's a good chance this book is going to be pulled on and land on the ground and everything else. So I need stuff that's going to be super sturdy to make it the long haul. Oops. Okay. So again, you're going to have the blank side facing you. I know it doesn't seem right, but it's going to look right in a minute. I'm actually going to put this kind of close to the edge. So here's what it's going to look like from the outside then. Okay, and I'm going to add these as I go along in the book more often. And I think, still the last minute here, I'm going to add a heart on the side. Just so I have something pretty on the page when I am open to it. And I'm going to do it in my perfect plum again. And that's what it'll show on that side when I open the page. And there's my finished product. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.